The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 137. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of outstanding women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out amazing blog articles and our killer resources. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady who's all the way from Calgary, Alberta. She has a phenomenal list of things that she's done. She's a physician, author, speaker, a brain expert, an international leader in Chinese sports medicine and psychology, and I'm just glad to have her on and share her story about self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Joanny Liu. Dr. Joanny, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me on your show, Sheena. I'm really happy to be here today. Okay, I guess where I started from, I was a professional engineer for 24 years working in corporate Calgary in the oil patch. And while I was there, I had a cancer scare, and it made me turn around and really look at my life and decide where I was going to go. The interesting thing is that I was so unhappy and very angry during my time in corporate that it was doing a heck of a lot of damage. But fortunately, I will say this is fortunate because this particular cancer scare didn't have to go very far in order to wake me up and make me realize that I really wanted to live. And the reason why I wanted to live was because I knew I still had work to do on this earth. And one of the major decisions that I made was to stop being a victim and to start living my life and stop asking people for permission or asking them for approval for all the things that I wanted to do. So I just started to live life.
Awesome and phenomenal story you have there, Dr. Joanny. I'm glad you're able to share that. And, sometimes it might have to take a life-changing thing like getting cancer to realize, life is too short and we just got to go out there and live life on our own terms. So thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
I'm Chinese Canadian. My parents are Chinese from Canton, or now known as Guangdong, and they're Taisan people. That's a dialect that a lot of early Chinese have who came to Canada at the time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
For me, I guess I've come across many, but right now what's more important to me is that I remember who I am, and that means that I have to know who I am to begin with. So that comes down to knowing my likes and dislikes, and also reminding myself every single day and every single time that I might get upset or angry or sad by what's happening in life, why I'm here, what my purpose is. So it's really important that I remind myself of what my purpose is.
Awesome, and thanks for sharing that. And, sometimes something as simple as saying to yourself, reminding yourself of who you are is such a big wake-up call, right? Because a lot of us, or, there's still people out there who still put this mask on in front of people because they want to please others, right? They want to make sure they're liked. And when you just remind yourself who you really are, who your true authentic self is, it's just more freeing, and then you can be who you want to be, and I just believe more people will like you because you are your authentic self. So thanks for sharing that. And what would be your definition of self-confidence?
Expressing yourself as freely as possible without caring what other people think. That's really what it comes down to. Now, I'm not talking about saying things that build hatred in people. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand, standing up for what you believe, and at the same time doing good for yourself as well as for other people and, in fact, the world. Because you probably have a lot more potential than you think, but you're too scared. A lot of people are just too scared to go and do the things that they know in their heart they want to do. And yeah, as you were saying previously, they think that they want to be liked. But unfortunately, you have no control over that anyways, because people are going to form an opinion about you whether you try hard to create an impression or not. And the thing is, people are going to make a judgment on you whether you think they're going to or not. So you have no control over that. So just go and be yourself, and you're going to attract the right people in your life anyways.
Awesome, and I love that, and it's so true, right? I mean,
yeah,
especially like, you know, Asian culture, you know, women are always taught to just please other people, make sure everyone else is okay, and we forget to take care of ourselves and be ourselves in the process, right? So it's a great definition, and I love it. And, you know, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, as I said in my intro, I was a very angry person and very unhappy because it really comes down to feeling helpless. And even though another form of helplessness is depression, that wasn't in my makeup. Instead, it was about becoming very angry and lashing out at people, being actually passive-aggressive, which is a very negative state of mind to be in. And so that's why I became sick.
Thanks for sharing that. And, you know, what was that aha moment in your life when, you know, you realize, you know, it's up to you to change, you know, how you want to see the world instead of always being angry?
Well, my aha moment happened when I finally made a decision to leave corporate and started traditional Chinese medicine school. And in our fundamentals in Chinese medicine, that's when I found out what the problem was, why I had this cancer scare. But I also found out why I was able to turn it around. Because in that class, my professor actually said that when you are angry, and it's going to affect you more than anybody else because you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else when you have such a negative emotional state about yourself and about your life. And that was my aha moment. I mean, when I heard it, I looked around the classroom to see if anybody else was reacting to it the way I was. And nope, I guess I was the one who caught it. And that's what turned it around when I realized it truly is whatever your most prominent emotional state is.
Thanks for sharing that. And, you know, I believe that too, right? Especially when you're in that state of like anger, you know, it's just really draining, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes there, you know, there's not sometimes, like most of the time, you know, you just can't take things personally, right? Because in the end, you still lose. You know, you still lose. You're still the one who's angry. You're the one who's like fretting over something maybe that's really not even worth fretting over, right? And
it's true.
And you can just change that anger into the total opposite. Be happy and be free from that negativity. So, you know, after that big realization, what's your life like now?
Well, it still took a number of years. I mean, I'm still working on it, but over time, I began to find my teachers, and my teachers also included my clients. But my teachers are Course in Miracles. I finally found my tribe, which is classical Chinese medicine, which is based on a very valuable tenet on the emotional state, which really is the primary cause of any disease, any injury, any pain in our lives. Because that's mind-body association. That's really what that means. And science has proven that to us, but they don't put it that way because, for instance, when you get angry or you have a stressful moment, when you're upset, your body changes because your heart rate might go up, your digestive system might shut down, you might have a stomach ache, you know, your blood pressure would go up, you know, like a whole bunch of different things happen when you change from being a happy person to being an upset person. And stress has also been shown to increase the chances of sports injuries, let's say, because it stiffens up your muscles. It takes up a lot of your energy that you need to live a good life. It's amazing the physiological changes that are made when you have that stressful moment. Now, when you have a stressful moment that's short, it's not so bad if you can get over it really quick. But when it becomes chronic stress, that's when you start running into trouble, and that's when you start having those problems.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Dr. Joanny, if a woman's listening to your episode, she might be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say calm down. First, examine why you feel the way you feel. Examine whether you actually have control over the situation, because in reality, we don't have control over other people, events, situations, other animals. We don't have full control over that, but we do have control over how we feel, how we think, what we do, the decisions that we make, and the results that we get. A lot of people are expending a lot of energy, spending a lot of time, resources, trying to control other people when we really can't do that. People have their own lives, and we have our own lives too, and that's what we have to focus on. So that's the tip that I would give. Focus on improving your own life first, and maybe the example that you set for other people will put them on the path so that they'll become happy and well too. So that's a first step. We have to take control of ourselves first and lead by example.
Great advice, and I love it. And it's true, right? If we ever want anything in life, whether it's, a partner or just love or, finances, it has to start with us, right? We have to start working on ourselves so we can attract the right things into our life. So thanks for sharing that. And Dr. Joanny, if our listeners want to connect with you and get to know a little bit more about yourself, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Well, you can find me on any of the social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, simply by Googling Dr. Joanny, Joanny. So that's Dr. Joanny. My website is www.drjoanny.com, where you'll find a free report, 5 things you should never do when you have an injury. Or you can find my books on Amazon. I've got 3 books about concussions, healing concussions, knockout concussions, Heal Your Concussion, 21 Days to Brain Health, and Heal Your Concussion, How to Quickly and Effectively Get Back in the Game, which is my brand new book. So that's how people can get in contact with me and learn a bit more about my work. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that info. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Dr. Joanny, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Dr. Joanny's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Dr. Joanny for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and have an awesome day, Sheena.
Thank you. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for connecting with us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more.